All right. So, welcome. My office, Mortgages with Hannah, presents financial action plans with the wonderful Sunny Wishart. So let's talk a bit about our mortgage team at first and why choose our team specifically and a mortgage agent. You'll have ongoing support and consultation when you close your mortgage with us. I have been in business almost 9 years now. I've been in the mortgage industry 22, so you will get that forever. I say in my creepiest voice, we're never leaving you. Ensure you're getting the best rates and best terms. Hey, listen, I can't bring back 2% rates today, but I can make sure you're getting the best rates. So different lenders raise and decrease rates at different times. Yes, they're tied to the Bank of Canada, and yes, they're tied to the bond yields, but they're also tied to what's going on at that lender. So I'll make sure you're getting the best rate. You save time with one-stop shopping. So you come to us, you tell us your story once, we pull your credit once, and then we go shop our 30 A prime lenders and our alternative lenders and all that, and we find the best deal for you. We negotiate on your behalf. I laugh at this because I hate Colin Rogers for my own bill, but I will drive that lender into the ground for you. I can always do best for other people, ironically. No cost to you. So our A and B lenders, they pay us commission for bringing them new business. So there is no fee. Whether I'm going to repeat that because this is a new thing in the world. No fee if you close your mortgage to us with TD or with First National Excalibur. We do not charge. And then things move quickly. So Dylan, Miranda, and I are here Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, moving things along for you. So you don't have to worry about, doing extra work or anything. We're here moving everything along. Get independent advice. So as much as I work with those lenders, I don't work for those lenders. So I can let you know the ins and outs of that mortgage product. Expert advice. Like I said, I've been doing this over 2 decades. I swear I'm still 19 years old, but I know a bit about mortgages. And then more choice again means more competitive rates. And it's not just me, it's my wonderful team, which I'll show you next. There they are. Dylan, our office cowboy. Myself and Miranda, who's taking a well-deserved day off today as our fulfillment officer. So Dylan's the first person you see when you walk in the door and the first one to answer the phone and answer emails. Miranda is a fulfillment officer, meaning she's not licensed. I'm licensed, but she helps with all the in-between. So those are the people you'll talk to when I'm not around. And now over to the wonderful Sunny. Thanks, Sunny.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hannah knows I can talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. So I always appreciate an opportunity to tell all my tip-top secrets. And I've got Dylan on slides, so he's helping me out because I find when I navigate Google Meet, I'm not very proficient. So thank you, Dylan. I'm better on Zoom. But yeah, so I was asked to talk about financial action plans. So you're kind of like, well, what is that? So I'm going to start with back to the basics and some fundamentals. So if we could go to the next slide. I do like to mention who I am. This is me. I have over 17 years in finance. I was previously a classical pianist, so I made a big change. I went and got the certified financial planning designation. What this means is I do have a governing body. I am pretty smart, and I'm in good standing with FP Canada, who are the people you can complain to if you're unhappy with me. I do help families of all shapes and sizes. A lot of people think that financial planning is for the rich and have to have net worth, but I do have a lot of experience with helping people who are in the red and just need to figure out how to tidy that up. And that's kind of one of my favorite things to do. Giving everyone deserves financial planning. So these are the things like what makes me the expert. It's been a long time in finance. I've seen a lot. I've been in banking, subprime lending. It's wealth management. It's been a ride. And I'm going to be sharing this one from the mountaintops. I did climb Kilimanjaro in September and I summited. And I'm wearing there's Lisa in the picture, my partner crime. She knitted me this mountain shawl. It's a mountain. It's so cool and so warm. So I'll be talking about, if you ever want to hear about Kilimanjaro, I'll tell you all about it. All right, next slide, please, is just a blurb about what is my business. So I run À La Carte Financial. So I'm an advice-only financial planner. What this means is when I launched this, almost 7 years ago, I dropped like my investment licensing. So I don't have any sales anymore. What I do is I do pure planning, pure financial advice. You tell me what your goals are, to plan to work towards those goals, and I send you a bill. That's it. So it's we do call it pure planning, advice only planning, lots of names for this, but this is what A La Carte Financial does. All right, next slide. This is where I kind of start. I do want to start with this one, and this is where I'm going to get you guys to do a little bit of your own work. When I sit down in front of people, I'm part detective. I put my detective hat on and I ask a lot of questions. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions because I need to paint an overall financial picture. And then when I see that picture, I can get an idea where we need to start in the planning process. I'm not a big fan of putting like my plans run until the day we plan on you dying. Yes, I talk about people dying quite a bit. But if you're, like I said, in this blue box here, if your monthly income and expenses are more like pin the tail on the donkey, we're not moving forward with financial planning projections. It's just a waste of your money. It's not helpful to you if the ducks aren't lining up. If you're sitting in front of someone saying you need to start saving $200 a month to retire, and you don't know where that 200 a month is going to come from, it is not a good starting point. Do not move forward. We're going to start with understanding where you're at currently. So these are the top 3 scenarios I see, and they determine where we start first. And I'm going to get you guys to kind of play along and think about where you're at. I see they say, I pay my bills each month and I have no debts. So I'm managing great, but they have no savings. Like, this is good. Like, I see this and I'm excited about, yes. Step 1, you're not spending more than you make. That is step 1. So if I see that the ins and the outs and they're netting zero, you don't have credit cards and lines of credits all with giant balances, you're nailing it. And then we can move forward with things like that, where it means like I would move forward with planning at doing some more strategic savings planning. Okay, you're managing your ins and outs. Where are we going to find extra money? I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I'm going to help you find out where you find the extra money to start saving towards more goals. It's usually medium and long-term goals we're going to look at. And we do tax planning is also super important pre and particularly post-retirement. So that's kind of a household number 1. Then they have the household number 2. It's I pay my bills each month and I have large bank account balances. Yeah, this happens. I'm sure we all laugh. but no, you see it where they have a savings account with what I would consider far too much money sitting in it, sitting in there dead in the water and not working towards a goal. And particularly these days, savings accounts are yielding some high interest that can be taxable to you. So there's a lot of fun things we can do. You see this and you think, okay, let's talk about the things we can do. I guess I should have mentioned at the beginning that I do start with having a conversation about what your goals are. I need to drill down your top 3 financial goals first. And then we take those goals and we implement them going forward. But I want to make sure we're always speaking to them. If it's to pay down debt, if it's to do a big reno or to retire I just did one to retire at 45. We put those in there and we always speak towards working towards your personal goals, because financial planning is incredibly personal. It's not black and white. It's very, very gray. And everyone's taking their own path towards the own things they want to do. So when you see I pay my bills each month, but I have large bank balances, we're going to work on some strategies to allocate those more strategically. Again, tax planning, speaking to your goals, and moving that money around. So then here's the most common one that I see, and this is what I spoke to earlier when I said, young families or families coming in, or anybody. It's anybody. I'm barely making ends meet, and my credit card balances are creeping up. So this is like the third household that you see, and is very common. And I really love when these people call me because I can help. I know it seems counterintuitive to have to pay money to kind of make money, so to speak, but I can really help drill down and get things tidy up, get things working, and maybe even just spell out if things aren't working, let's go with the next options and go work through those recommended options of making change if necessary. So these are the top 3 people I love working with. And I don't know, I want everyone to kind of think about where you are in this realm. I find sometimes, just to kind of keep blabbing on, you see people and they'll give me all the hard data and there's all these surpluses, like this is money that they say they're not spending, but then they don't have any savings. But I've got them with thousands of dollars a year that's not allocated to an expense. So I do have to have every dollar accounted for. And that's also kind of a neat exercise too, to paint the picture of what your actual lifestyle is, and what it costs to maintain your lifestyle. A whole bunch of financial planning is the cost to maintain your lifestyle. And is it worth it? Is it going to work towards your goals? Is it reasonable? Do we need to make change or can we maintain it? Because we all have a certain lifestyle that we're used to. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So these are my top things that I recommend to do, like out of the gates right now. We don't move forward with any planning until this is done. Tidying up your banking. I am going to talk about this more in a minute, but I didn't want to put it all on this one slide because I just don't like busy slides and I like rubber ducks. So we've got tidying up, and don't mind my cat meowing. She's yelling at me in the background. This is a very important process to me, because there's a lot going on with, we have these ideas about banking, that we've opened accounts 30 years ago. We're just staying comfy, and I just might shake things up and make you uncomfortable. But again, I'll get into that a little more in a sec. So the second thing is to automate as much as possible. These days, everything is digital, electronic, add to cart, check out, pre-authorized. We don't manage money like we used to. So a lot of things don't work like they used to. So we need to change our strategy. I believe in everything coming out automatically that is known to be true today. You know your mortgage payment, you know your property taxes, you know your utility bills. They're roughly the same. Your car payments, your insurances, your subscriptions, all that stuff is all the same each month. Have it run automatically. And if you're starting to be more aware of your, what we call cash flow, or it's the pretty word for budget, you don't need to write each number down every month because it's the same and it's a brain drain. We're getting drained by all this, and then we're throwing our hands in the air and saying, well, I hope it works out in the end. So what I always recommend is everything that you know to run each month, like for your shelter and your transportation, and like I said, even your internet, because internet and cell phones are mandatory. They used to be included as a lifestyle expense. Nah, we need this these days. COVID has really said you need cell phones, you need data, you need good internet at home. So just run that as an automatic and then lump it all in together as one amount. My house costs $5,000 a month. The end. You know this to be true. And then you move that sum aside and you make sure you have the income to support it. So what you're going to do after you've figured that out and you sorted out all these things, and every house is different. You know, things like even newspapers. I don't know what you have automatically running out of your house. If you worked with me, I would roll up my sleeves and tell you, and then I'd create that magic number. But you can easily look. I always recommend historically looking. So look at your statements from the last 30 days, and those are true indicators of what's going out. Don't build from the bottom up by trying to plug and play into a sheet, someone's budget worksheet. You're going to forget something. So look historically, figure out your automatic amount and forget it. Get it out of your mind. Let's seize the mental accounting. So you're going to move forward with tracking. Number 3, this is what I want you to track: the variable spends. So when I think of variable spends, how I like to try to explain that is that's anything you tap for or enter your PIN, you're using that PIN pad, or you're online. Those are what's basically your variable spends. And those are the things that I call them, not always. Some people are wonderful. I hate to, put everyone in a pigeonhole, but the variable spends are your culprits. That's where you have to have a good understanding of looking back those last 30 days and what does my lifestyle like? So my lifestyle likes, I know everyone has a thing. So you got to know your thing. Whether your thing is your nails or your thing is lotto tickets or your thing is cigarettes or weed or gambling, whatever, or wine. You have to know your thing and make sure that you put a true number on it and you look it in the eye. And then just put it in. There's nothing wrong with having a thing. It's just being honest about it, tracking and making sure that you have enough money to pay for it so you're living within your means. I never want anyone to feel bad. And I guess I'm going to squeeze this in here, but there is a lot of guilt and shame when I meet with people and I'm looking at their variable expenses. And it was hard for them to basically show me the raw data, show me where the spending's going. I have put a weed expense in because that seemed important for that person based on the spending. And let's not be embarrassed about it. You have to look it in the eye or your plan is no good. Sweeping it under the rug means you have no good of a plan. I'm not worth my money. We have to have an understanding of that, and we have to stop being embarrassed and we have to stop feeling ashamed and just put it in and move forward. But I do struggle with the amount of embarrassment there is, and that's why people don't come meet with me, because they feel bad. Like, I should be more ahead for my age. All my friends have this. Their families have this. Their houses are bigger. Their cars are nicer. Their kids are in everything. None of this matters. So anyways, total tangent on the variable, but the variable is your lifestyle, the type of lifestyle you like for yourself, or maybe you want more for yourself, and we should look at that too. We do a lot of that in retirement planning. Like, hey, now that I'm retired, I want to spend a little more on my kids. I want to spend a little more traveling. I want to spend a little more on my house. So just have an understanding of that and be okay with that. I do have my final one, which Hannah's gonna love. Tracking your credit score. It's sexy. So if you're dating, get the guy's credit score or the girl's credit score seriously. But no, the reason I ask this, and I do like to be very clear about this, it's just a prudent thing for your financial health. It's all about being healthy. Being healthy is not being ashamed of your spending, knowing your credit score, and having a healthy credit score not only means you've done all the right things in life, that doesn't matter, it's that aside. It's a lot of credit bureaus have mistakes. And you don't want to be sitting at some super vulnerable time and they're telling you that you were delinquent 4 years ago. You're like, no, it wasn't. And they're like, well, it's right here on the report. It's a mistake. You have to go fix it. It's undue stress. Don't just track it. I have some links at the end so you can get some ideas of how to track. Or it's not just mistakes. It's fraud. Fraud in Canada is a growing concern. So just laying eyes on your credit score, I say at least a couple times a year. Don't look at it every month. It's like tracking the stock market. You don't need to see that much. but just enough time that if you do see something that doesn't look right, that it hasn't gone on too long, and you can get it fixed up, and you're in tip-top shape for if or when you need to sit in front of someone like Hannah and you already know where you're at. You're not being blindsided. Some other good reasons to lay eyes on it is, say deep down you think my credit score can't be any good. So what? Look at it. And the neat thing about the link, I use Borrowell. I got that from Hannah. I know she recommends them. They send me my score. They send you tips and tricks on how to get your credit score back in shape. You can turn it around just like the stock market. It can turn around quite quickly. So not looking at it isn't doing you any favors if you have a funny feeling about it. So I do recommend, as a part of your financial health, to just lay eyes on it once in a while and just don't stick your head in the sand. It's so important. So that's lining up the ducks. I was just about to switch slides, but I can't because it's Dylan. Okay. I spent a lot of time on this. I worked in banking. I have a lot of opinions about paying bank fees. And before I'm on, are there any questions? Does anybody want to ask anything before I move on to the how to tidy up banking? We good? Okay.
Dahlia, you have a hand up. Do you have a question, hun, or are you just hand up? Nope. Okay. All good.
I'll hand up that. Okay. This one is where we spend a bit of time. If I'm getting all your statements and I'm helping you with your cash flow, then, and you're sending me statements from PC Financial, Tangerine, CIBC, Scotiabank, and all I can see is e-transfers. Ding, 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 ding. That's messy. That's likely expensive. And how do you have any idea where your money's going when it's just shuffling all around the account? And the conversation often goes something like this. Well, I opened this one when I was a teenager with my first job. And then I opened this one when I opened this credit card. And then when I took out my mortgage, the bank told me I had to open a bank account with this mortgage because they do what's called the cross sell. And you feel like you have to have your TD mortgage come into your TD bank account. And on and on and on. And now you've got a deck of cards. This is a big no-no in the financial planning space for a couple of reasons, or several reasons. One, you have no idea what's going in and out. There's no way you can work towards your financial goals if you don't know where your money is going. Two, there's probably bank fees just chipping away at your wealth constantly. I add up all those little, $5, $1.25s. Bye. And like the 17.99s, whatever, and they come to sometimes $100 a month, and that's $1,200 a year going straight in the bank's revenue. So, and it's not working towards your goals. Even worse, I work with widows. They're running around going, where are all our accounts? They have the death certificate. They're running from bank to bank to bank, trying to find out what's happening with their money. It is the hardest thing to witness, to help with, and it's just an estate planning nightmare. So I do recommend having your accounts at one institution to the extent possible. I get there could be a couple. I get that some of these savings accounts at other institutions are really wicked interest rates. I've seen some great stuff out there. Fine. But to have the main source, the main funnel of your house, the income lands here, expenses and savings leave here. So you have a true picture of what or if anything is left at the end of the day. So I'm going to, if you work with me, I'd roll up my sleeves and I would get you to tidy that up, streamline everything. If you have to move paychecks around, you have to change the automatic withdrawals. Like I'll see the automatic payments coming out of upwards of 6 different places. How do you know your expenses when 3 credit cards have this? And and 3 bank accounts have that. And then I've seen people split up their paycheck. So you earn a salary, but 60% of your salary goes to this account, 40% goes to this account. No. So that's something I totally recommend. Think really long and hard about where you want to bank. Comfy's okay, just less. Sometimes I've had people say, I don't want to not bank with this bank. I just get their interface and their platform and I like, fine, just stop banking with that bank. Do reevaluate your credit card regularly. We take out these credit cards for 1,000 different reasons, but is it serving you? Are you paying $200 a year for travel points and you're not traveling? Or, are you paying fees just for points that aren't serving you? Are you paying, or are you carrying credit card balances? So one of my top secret tricks is, say someone comes up to me and they have one of those fancy pants gold cards, but they owe it like $6,000 and aren't able to pay it off. It's carrying month over month and they're getting charged 30%. Well, I get them to do a switch. You call the number on the back of the card. You say, I want your lowest rate credit card or fee. And then you just get them to switch the card. It's super easy. I've never heard anyone say they can't do it. I've done it loads of time. Just reduce your rate. They're not lending you any more debt, so it's not like you're borrowing anymore. You're just switching in and out of cards. So do reevaluate your credit card kind of here and there and just make sure it's serving you. You're not paying too much for it or huge interest when you're carrying balances. It's not a good product. Of course, here's the thing. Are you happy with your bank or your investments? I don't know, but these days my experience at the bank branch are a little lacking. They've definitely changed since my day, but just, are you happy with the products they have? They're offering you have with them. Do you feel treated okay? I know there's not the huge personal experience that there was. Are the fees okay? Make sure you understand what you're paying and what you're getting. Are you happy with your investments? So if you've invested with them 10 years ago at the bank branch and your balance is still the same, maybe you shouldn't be happy. Be like, why am I not? Maybe you should look at change. And change is okay. And that's why I raised the bottom, that change is totally worth it. I know it's uncomfortable to transfer investments, but it's not that hard. It just takes some administrative paper filling out. A lot of institutions are happy to help you with that process unless you go the DIY route. So, yeah, so make change and it's totally worth it. So that's how you tidy up your banking. All right.
Delia, do you have a question? You put your hand up again. Just checking.
No question, just following through and approving more than you
Oh,
can believe it.
Okay. I'm gonna take that as a high five from now on. That's great. Okay.
Thanks. All right, we'll go to the next slide. So these are just some next steps. So the fundamentals I went through, I'm all about the tidy banking and the automation and just track your lifestyle. But okay, say you kind of have a hang of that. What are some other things you can do that make you richer? And these are all things that, trust me, they make you richer. It's not because you'll be instantly richer. It's because you've flipped your mindset to a strategy that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. Like, I just received documents from a client. They're entering their second year of retirement. And first year retirement's always kind of awkward because it's what we call the decumulation phase. And we're always so focused on accumulating and how do I retire? And it's very uncomfortable that first year. She sent me the tidiest stuff of they got their net worth sorted out, their cash flow, everything in a spreadsheet. I'm like, these people are going to have the best retirement. It's not going to be a problem because she tracked. And it's pretty good. So these are some of the things that I like to just speak to next. And I poke people for information. Like if you have an employer that offers a matching program of any sort, whether it's stocks or share ownerships or RSPs or DCP, like pensions, whatnot, don't put this on any longer. If you're not sure if your employer has this, find out. This is free money with 100% return guarantee most of the time, or maybe 50%, depends. So you put for $1 in, sometimes the employer will put $1 in, or for $1 in, they'll put 50 cents in. You're not getting these returns in the markets. You're not getting these returns sitting in your bank account. Just get used to that money coming off your paycheck. So many people say, I wish I had that defined benefit plan like a teacher or a police officer. Have you seen their pay stubs? They have hundreds of dollars a month yanked off their pay stub to put in that pension. And that's how it is serving them. They're putting like 10% away. So if we did the same, those people who don't have that gold seal of a defined benefit plan, we would be in a pretty good boat too. So take advantage of these matching programs, kiss that money goodbye, and move on. You just get used to it. If you have debt balances, okay. But what I don't like to see is making heroic payments because you get frustrated and you throw all your money at it. And then all of a sudden you can't put food on your table because you put all, and then you got to use the debt again to just pay your everyday needs. This I liken to health and nutrition, where you ate salad all week and then you went banana. So you're throwing all the money at your debt and you worked out, and then Friday comes along and you're starving and you get takeout and you eat cake and you go nuts and then you blah, 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 and you rack up your credit cards again. So it's not healthy. It's not a balance. Don't do it. I recommend most people who need to tidy up the cash flow out of the gates, I recommend most people just get to the end of the month and make your minimum payments on your debt for like 3 months. And after 3 months, see if you have any extra money. And if you don't, you're just going to have to service that debt with minimum payments until extra money comes from somewhere. But not using it, not looking to using it again, treating it like it's dead to you is the most important mental shift we need to make. We need to know that that credit is not available, and we need to know that we've just stopped the cycle, stopped the hamster wheel, and we are living within our means. Once you're living within your means, then we can look to make change from there to heroic steps to put on the debt. But when the money is just dumping on it and then flowing back out, like I said, it's like putting food on the table. You have to be fair to yourself and you have to be kind to yourself. And that to me is like, it's not a good way. It's not healthy. It's not balanced. Just make your minimum payments, learn to live within your means. I recommend 3 months. It's not going to be the end of the world for your debt, I promise. And then move forward from there. Whew, I have a lot to say about that. So I do recommend that you create, if you are looking at creating your own budget, and if you're like salaried or you've got like a guaranteed income that comes in, I do recommend that you create your budget on whatever that net amount is that lands in your account. If you're biweekly, then you're going to base it on getting 2 in your bank account, because at 10 months of the year, that's all you get is 2 paychecks a month. So just get used to living within those means. And then that's where your spending should be sourced from. And then any extra money that comes in, like if you get a 3rd paycheck in the month, if you get an income tax return, if you sell something on Marketplace, you can use that towards some extra little savings strategies, debt paying, whatnots. And then I do say, this is what I really want you to do to protect your investments, protect any savings that you have by building up a savings account. So you want to have at least a couple $1,000s kicking around. If you own a home, you have 10 dogs and a boat, then you're going to want like $10,000 kicking around. So the more you have, the more you should have slushy. And that is it's just risk planning. It's protecting if you've got RSPs and TFSAs. Those aren't to pay vet bills or car repairs. So building up that savings. I know it's hard to do. So that's why I say if you can build up using, money that is going to come out every month, that can run your everyday inflows and outflows. Then the extra stuff is where you can kind of snag pieces here and there to start topping up that savings account. I don't like to call it an emergency savings account because people get a little hung up at, well, that's if my roof blows off. No, that's if you have to run to the vet. If it's not included in your budget, it's coming from that savings account. And it's just a revolving thing that you keep topping up with some of the variable money that may come into your household. Yeah, I think those are some of the other key things. One thing, another strategy that I like too, is if you're kind of new to the savings and say, like I get a lot of people say like, oh, I want to pay down my mortgage. I get it. A mortgage is a big thorn in the side. The interest rates are kind of uncomfortable these days. Generally, when I'm doing long-term projections, if your mortgage is paid off by your retirement date, I'm pretty happy, unless you have tons of extra money. But as long as your retirement's in good shape, I go for there. But if your mortgage runs 20 years into retirement, we're going to talk about this stuff. But when it comes to like making accelerated quick payments to mortgage, if you're having like a bit of a sticky time with your cash flow, I recommend building up that savings account. And then at the end of the year, because most lenders let you make a lump sum, at the end of the year, look at what's in there. Is it overfloweth with cash? Then yes, allocate some to your principal. Go ahead. You're like, I got $15,000. I'm going to put 5,000 on here. I'm going to book my trip to Punta Cana and life is grand. No problem. But if at the end of the year, that savings account served you and kept you out of debt, but you don't have a huge balance to show for it, then this is good. I'm so happy with this. This is what I want to see. Just don't accumulate more debt. Have that slush account to protect and keep moving forward. But if you put that money down on the principal quite quickly and you don't leave yourself any extra money for all those odds and sods, I call it the pesky culprits, it's all locked in that mortgage. And the only way to get it back out is when it's, hey, Hannah, I want to refinance. I've got my line of credit way up there again. And that mortgage perpetuates into retirement doing it that way. Okay, that's a lot on that one, I think. And the next slide, that's the one. This is my final food for thought in the financial planning space. Teamwork makes the dream work. So what I'm talking about here is having good financial professionals in your corner. There's nothing worse than talking to someone who they got bad advice or even no advice. They just did what they thought was right and no professional helped them. So you want good people like Hannah. You want her in your court helping you with your mortgage. She's definitely my mortgage agent. She's wonderful, knowledgeable, and it helps so much when you're dealing with big ticket items like that. If you have little more complex needs, I recommend like good accountants in your court, someone who's not just going to data entry for you, but who's going to care and help you with tax, because that can build that relationship. Lawyers, investment advisors. You just want good teams, good professionals. You can't know everything. That's why we're here, is because this is our wheelhouse, and then we come see you in your wheelhouse. So just build a good team, and that'll help you get richer too. And then I think that's it. The last one is, I think, my resources. Yeah, these are some of my favorite things. There's the Borrowell link. I really like this Ernst & Young tax calculator. If you're interested in looking like some super easy plug and play on RSP contributions and taxable incomes, the Government of Canada has a financial literacy. It's called the FCAC. They are amazing. Thanks, Jenny. Bye, Jenny. And then there's some videos here. I'm not endorsing these guys at Wealthsimple, but they're super fun videos about investing and they crack me up and you learn a lot. That's it. Anyone have any questions?